Hello everyone. So this is me again. My name is Victor. It's been a while. I kind of forgot that I had started this series. I wanted to learn Erlang. So here I am back again. I don't know how long it's been, maybe a few months. So I'm just gonna continue where I left off. The last time, if I remember correctly, I looked at the history of Erlang. So I talked about the motivation behind it, the way it was designed, what it was designed for. Today we're just gonna look at a few things, like some very basic data types and maybe variables. Nothing much. It's like really late in the night here. It's kind of cold too, about 1:35 in the morning. I can't really sleep. I got that terrible case of insomnia. But then, that's not really the point of this video. Erlang, alright? So when you install Erlang, I don't think I showed in my previous video how you do it, but I think you guys are smart enough to figure that out on your own. So when you install Erlang on your computer, you get this command called Erl. So this basically starts off the Erlang interpreter, but in Windows you're supposed to use something else called whirl. I'm just gonna get out of this. So you type it as W-E-R-L. I think it's short for Windows Erlang. So what you get is this souped up version of the command prompt, but basically it's just Erlang. It just runs Erlang and nothing else. So this is just Windows specific, if you didn't quite get that. So WERL will work only on Windows. Well, according to docs at least. Right, so Erlang. So we're gonna start with something that every computer programmer will want to know when they first start to learn a language, which is variables. So in Erlang, according to the docs, so this is a crash course on Erlang's website. So anyway, according to this, variables, right? Starts with an uppercase letter. That's probably the most important thing about variables in Erlang. It has to start with an uppercase letter. So something like A is bad, or is it? No, it doesn't work. But if I use capital A, right, so that's the first mistake right there. In Erlang, statements end with a period. Yeah. So let's do that again. Exception error, no match of right hand side with value down. But if we use capital A, that works. We get back 10. How do you clear the screen? Is that no? Okay. Maybe you clear it over here, here. There's no way to clear the screen, is there? That's better. Alright, so that's the first thing about variables is you gotta use capital letters. Let's call this one B. So there's a reason why I call that one B. The next important thing about Erlang would be that variables can only be bound once. Value of a variable can never be changed once it has been bound. So earlier we bound A to the value 10. If I try to set A to some other value, we get an exception error. We can't do that. A will always be 10. Right, so variables. Probably the most important thing we're going to learn about variables and at the very beginning. So let's begin by looking at a bunch of numbers. We need numbers in computer programming, so we're going to start with numbers. So like most programming languages, this thing has integers and floats. So very important, 10, -234. This is probably hex 16 hash AB10F 2 hash, and that's binary, and $A. So right here in the notes it says that B hash value is used to store numbers in base B, which explains this notation here. So this is base 16, that's hex. This is base 2, that's binary. So I suppose 8 would be octal. Let's try 10, that should be 8. We don't see anything. Oh, we gotta put a dot, yeah. So that gives us an 8. Right, so I don't know if it works for every single base. So maybe this will give us 7. Yeah. Okay. So it works for whatever base I want. Illegal base 100. Why is base 100 illegal? Is 16 the highest base I can have? 16. Let's try 17. See, why is 100? Okay, you know what? I don't have the time for that. So we know that it accepts a bunch of different bases. So it's probably going to be somewhere in the docs where, like, what's the limit for the bases. And then we have $A. So what is $A? Dollar character is used for ASCII values. So that's something that I haven't seen in the other languages that I've used. C, C++, JavaScript, Java, like all of that. Dollar. So that's something new for me. $A, 65. Okay. 97. So that's kind of handy if you like want to know what's the ASCII value for characters. What's $? 36. Okay. Right. So that's numbers, and then we have floats. Yeah, I mean integers. Floats now. 17.368. Negative that. 12. That. Okay. Let's just try it out. 17. So it's kind of interesting that when I just have 17 dot, that's just an integer 17, but 17.0.0. So that's 17.0. That's obviously a float. But what if I do 17 dot? Does that work? I guess not. Syntax error before dot. I guess that's an operator in Erlang. So in some languages, actually I'm not quite sure anymore. But I think in some languages you can, like if your decimal part was just 0, then it was optional, if I remember correctly. But I guess it's not in Erlang. You know what? I mean, we don't need some exotic syntax for floating point numbers. Yeah, I mean computer programs are hard enough to read. I guess we should just keep things simple like this. Right, so integers and floats, pretty basic. I mean, if you've done computer programming before, this is nothing new for anyone. And of course we have scientific notation here. 3 E negative 10. Yeah, it just works like any other programming language. Atoms. Indefinite length atoms are allowed. Any character code is allowed within an atom. So what is an atom? So I have encountered this thing, atoms. It's called different things in different languages. So the best way to describe it is itself. Its value is itself. So I'm saying that ABCEF, that's an atom, and its value is ABCEF. How did I type ABC? Okay. Blanks can be coded. Okay, so that's useful to know. Blanks can be coded. Gotta put a dot there. So I quite like adding a dot instead of a semicolon here because I don't know, it just feels more natural. That didn't make any sense, but that's okay. Balance format. Anything inside quotes. It seems we can use characters. Okay, you know what? Let's try that. Line 1, line 2. Okay, I thought that would be a new line, but didn't seem that way. Okay, let's try this exact thing here. Does that do? Oh, that's So hold on. This is escaped, but this is not. So like 0, 1, 2, and is that hex? Is that octal? Hey, but we can find out. Damn it. What is $n? It is 110. So what is 0, 1, 2? Is it octal? I don't think that's octal. Probably, it's probably hex. 12. No. No. Is it 8? No. What the heck is 0, 1, 2? What base is that? Oh well, who knows. Yeah, I think I'm gonna stop here. I think this video is long enough as it is. So we looked at variables. Important thing is starts with an uppercase letter, and they can be bound only once. Like that's the most important thing really. We looked at integers. We looked at numbers. We got integers, floats. We can represent different bases very easily. We can represent numbers in different bases very easily. You got positive numbers, negative numbers, and you can also get integer values of ASCII characters, which is very useful in my opinion. Floats is basically like any other programming language. You got scientific notation right here also. And atoms are quite interesting because these are values of themselves, like these are absolute things, so they're very useful, especially when returning them from function calls to represent things like errors or success. Yeah, I mean that's quite common in functional programming, I suppose. But anyway, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing and leaving a like on this video, and I'll see you guys next time.